What if one day you were told that you had HIV? HIV, human immunodeficiency virus, is a disease that has no cure until today. The virus, transmitted through the blood or body fluids, can remain undetected for years. When the virus attacks the immune system, the range of symptoms, if not treated or managed, can cause morbidity and mortality. HIV is often associated with high-risk populations, such as drug users or sex workers. But the truth is, HIV can affect anyone, regardless of race, gender, or age. Mothers unknowingly transmit HIV to their children through pregnancy or breastfeeding. Partners can infect their partners through unprotected sex. And in some cases, blood transfusions, if not screened properly, can also cause infection to others. Currently, the only effective way to manage the disease is to take medication every day to suppress the virus in one's body. However, this medication can lead to a variety of side effects, such as headache, fatigue, brain fog, and even organ impairment in the long run. It's challenging enough for adults to take medication every day. Now imagine how challenging that is for young children and teens. In the US, there are about 1.2 million people living with HIV. The majority of new infections, such as in 2020, came from teens and young adults. In Indonesia, there are about 540,000 people living with HIV, 19,000 of which are children ages 0 to 19. For people with HIV, in addition to the health challenges, the greatest obstacle is overcoming stigma and discrimination. In many countries like Indonesia, people with HIV live in fear. If their neighbors find out about their status, they're often forced to leave their homes. At school, children and adolescents are shunned and bullied, and they're often forced to leave their schools. Their condition is labeled as a sin or curse. In addition to the misinformation and HIV awareness and education, this leads to fear, stigma, and discrimination. Many people today still think that they can acquire HIV from simply touching or sharing a drink with an HIV person, which is not true. So why focus on adolescents? Adolescence, as defined by the WHO, is a phase of life between childhood to adulthood, between the ages of 10 to 19. It's a unique stage of human development in which adolescents experience biological, physical, cognitive, and psychosocial growth. These changes affect the way we think, feel, make decisions, and interact with the world around us. Many of us here today are adolescents. Most of us want to look good, have fun with our friends, and be healthy. But we have to admit, we're often emotional, moody, insecure, and anxious. We want to be independent, but we still need help from adults. We think we're right, but we often make mistakes. And we think we're invincible, but we are vulnerable. I've been volunteering with a nonprofit organization that supports children and teens with HIV in Indonesia, helping them to create a support program that addresses their needs, challenges, and aspirations. Their lives are complex because not only do they have HIV, but most of them are poor and many of them are orphans. They have limited access to education and medical care, some have stopped going to school, and a few of them have stopped taking their medications. Now, what if one day you were told that you had HIV? I want to take this opportunity to voice the concerns, struggles, and frustrations faced by adolescents with HIV. And at the same time, I want to inspire us with their courage and perseverance as they continue to overcome challenging obstacles every day. All the adolescents I worked with acquired HIV from mothers who did not know about their HIV status. As children, they were not told of their disease until they were mature enough to understand. The process of disclosing one's status is life-changing. If not done by the right person, the right time, or right place, it can be life-changing and be traumatizing. The process to accept one's status and overcome the challenges is a lifetime journey. From the adolescents I worked with, upon hearing their status, some of them felt nothing. They thought it was not a big deal, while most of them experienced shock and fear. Some of the first questions they asked themselves were, what is going to happen to me? Who can I tell? Can I date? Can I still go to school? And am I going to die? For adolescents that acquired HIV from the mothers, the negative impacts can be more complex. They may ask themselves, is that why my father and mother died? Did they do bad things? And why am I at fault? According to research by Angela Daichi, adolescents are 6 times more susceptible to depression, self-harm, and suicidal thoughts. Even when they may look okay, they might be struggling. In many cases, the impacts manifested months or years after disclosure and can be triggered by a life event, big or small. On the positive side, the benefit of knowing their status is that it can help adolescents take better care of their health. In their journeys, there are some successes and some failures. and failures can be devastating, debilitating, and in some cases fatal. Without the support from family and friends, the risk of giving up is high. Now I'm going to share 2 examples of how one's life can change with the news that they're infected with HIV. One teen, Neela, lost both of her parents when she was young, so she's cared for by her single grandmother. Neela and her grandmother are socioeconomically vulnerable. Although Neela took her medications every day, she did not know about her HIV status. Her grandmother told her that she had a disease and that these medications she took were vitamins to make her healthy. Neela, a quiet, shy girl, was the top of her class, but she was often bullied by her classmates due to her skin problems because of HIV. Oftentimes, her skin broke out in rashes that oozed and left dark marks on her entire body. As she was discriminated against by her classmates, she was self-stigmatizing herself, feeling insecure for the way she looked and for her living condition. When she was 15 years old, Neela's doctor and grandmother decided to disclose to her her HIV status, with the hope that she would learn how to take care of her health and manage it in the future. Upon knowing her status, the first questions that Neela asked were, "Can I have a boyfriend?" and "Can I have a family?" For a while, Neela kept her condition to herself. She had a lot of unanswered questions, but she didn't know who she could talk to. What she did know was that she had to stick on her treatment and medications, and she focused on getting good grades at school. One day, Neela liked a boy, but this boy made fun of her. This incident perpetuated her fears and worries, validating the negative assumptions about herself, making her feel hopeless and unworthy. Neela was so crushed and disappointed that she decided to stop taking her medications, despite knowing what the consequences were. Before Neela passed away, she wrote in her journal, "To those living with HIV, don't give up like I did." Another teen, Ani, could sit in her room all day reading books and writing poetry. Ani lost her father, so she's cared for by her single mother. Ani was told of her HIV status at the age of 10. At the time, she did not think much about it because she didn't know what it fully meant to her. When she was 16 years old, Ani got tired of taking her medications. She had been healthy so far and didn't think that stopping her meds would cause her any harm. "I will get back on it. Just a few more days wouldn't make any difference," she thought. One night, Ani had a high fever and was sweating profusely. Despite taking fever medications, her temperature did not go down. 1 day, 2 days, 3 days. Then she had a seizure. Her mother rushed her to the emergency room, and while waiting for the doctors, Ani was in and out of consciousness. After days in the hospital, her doctors finally told her that she had tuberculosis. However, unlike the usual case of TB that attacks the lung, Ani's TB bacteria attacked her brain, causing her severe meningitis. Her eyesight was compromised, and she progressively became blind. Knowing that she would lose her eyesight, Ani, however, did not give up. Instead, she vowed to not only get better, but to also learn how to take care of herself and keep on living meaningfully. When her health improved, Ani asked her mother to find her a care facility for the blind so that she could learn how to take care of herself with a disability. Ani learned how to type and read Braille. She also adapted to using a voice-assisted app to help her read text messages, read books, and write poetry. Writing became her tool to express herself and to cope with her conditions. Today, Ani is an advocate for other teens with HIV, so that others can learn from her story, to remind others not to repeat her mistakes, and to inspire and motivate others that life is worth living despite the demise. I'm sharing their journeys so that we get a glimpse of their stories, not only about their challenges, including their limitations, despair, and frustrations, but also about their victories, their process to accept their condition, their perseverance, and their inspirational will to live. I also want to emphasize that even with teens with HIV, they are teens just like us. They, just like us, want to be loved, cared, appreciated by friends and family. They, just like us, want to live a meaningful life. We as adolescents go through challenging times, and life may seem unfair to us. The CDC reported that the mental health crisis among adolescents in the US is currently at an all-time high, making mental health a secondary epidemic for our generation. We adolescents must put extra effort into taking care of our mental health and well-being. In the story of Neela, her despair is not only caused by external factors, but most importantly by how she viewed herself. Self-stigma is more common than some of us may realize. How many of us are self-stigmatizing or self-discriminating ourselves? How many of us feel that we're not good enough or not worthy? How can we empower ourselves and others, like Ani, who despite her unfortunate circumstances can still continue to inspire others? So if one day you were told that you had HIV or any bad news, of course it's going to be difficult to accept the life we have. But think of the stories of Nima and Ani, who despite their struggles still had hope to overcome them. We all know someone that's going through a tough time right now. You're not alone, and don't be afraid to reach out.